Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be doing an art journal page using one of my Studio Calico Traveler's Notebooks. I subscribe to their Traveler's Notebook kit, and so I've decided this is how I'm going to use them. So on the left hand page, I am using a Tim Holtz Collection layering stencil in bubbles just to create more visual interest on the stripes and break the stripes up a bit. I'm using the Ranger Distress Oxide ink in Faded Jeans and the mini sponge applicator. I also put a piece of washi on the opposite side of the page just to make sure I wasn't going to get any of the blue smudge on the white page. I'm using a Dina Wakley media stencil called Scribbled Faces, and I'm using Distress Oxide Worn Lipstick Pink to apply the stencil. And now I'll be using an Tangerine Alphabet Stamp Set that I purchased off her website. I don't think it's available anymore, but I've had this for a few years, so I decided to use this. I'm using Brilliance Pigment Ink Pad, and that is just to make sure that the stamping of the letters wasn't bleeding through onto the other side of the page. Brilliance Pigment Ink is pretty good for just sitting on top of the page. You're not getting as much, it's not as opaque as other stampings you can get, but there's definitely less bleeding and ghosting, so that's why I opted for the Brilliance. So for this art journal page, I wanted to do a quote page to ring in 2020, if you will. I know I'm a bit late on the bus there, but I just thought this was how I was going to use this Traveler's Notebook, and I wanted to start from January. The prompts I'm using is from Michelle Baxter. She is at Quirky Heart on Instagram. I'll link her down below as well as on the blog so that you can check it out. She basically got me started in creative journaling, so I really love and appreciate what she does. This Traveler's Notebook set is going to be part of her Quirky Heart Digest that I'm using as prompts. She includes weekly prompts for planning or journaling, and then there are also other more in-depth analysis you can do if you want. But that's what I'll be using my Studio Calico Traveler's Notebooks for. I found that the bubbles were sitting kind of flat on the page, and so I wanted to add more character to the bubbles. So what you see me doing here is I'm adding some gold to the outside just to create a bit of a shadow, but using the gold. This took a while, so I cut the video down for you so you didn't have to see me do that to every single bubble. I also found the stamped words to be sitting a little bit flat, so I grabbed a Crayola Super Tip in gray and I just outlined the words so that it had a bit of a shadow to it. I then took a Crayola Super Tip in navy blue and I colored in the eye so that it stood out. I outlined the pupil in gold. I used a white jelly roll in size 8 to draw a bit of an accent over the eye, and it wasn't quite showing up how I wanted it to. So I ended up going in with Dr. Phil Martin's bleed-proof white watercolor paint afterwards and just gently applied more color to it so that it stood out a bit more. I then took my jelly roll in and I added the white accent to the bubbles as well, just to add a little bit more of a pop to the bubbles. I also added white accents to the lettering, again to pop them off the page a little bit more. Next, I went in with a mild liner, a grey mild liner, using the pointed tip, and I added shadowing in and around the stenciled bit. Again, just to get the face to pop up a little bit and not lie as flat. I also went in with the mild liner on the thinner words, just to give it a little bit more shadow as well. I didn't want it to pop out as much as the exactly, but I thought it would look a little out of place if I didn't add more personality to the thinner words as well. Now, since I have so much gold on the bubble page, I wanted to bring in some balance. So I added some gold shadowing into the thinner letters as well. I used the Univore Signo gel pen, the same pen that I used on the bubbles. And this is where I went in with the white watercolor paint to make the accent on the eye pop out a little bit more. For the borders on my page, I decided to use the Studio Calico washi and then some washi that I got off of Wish. The Studio Calico washi actually came in this set with this traveler's notebook, so I'm not sure if it's available on the website, but it's a pretty peach color with gold stars on it. I realized that the gold stars weren't popping out as much as I wanted, so I had some gold accent stars that I went in and glued onto the page. You could also use gold sticker stars from the dollar store. I believe this is from a Studio Calico kit, Christmas kit I think, but I couldn't find my dollar store gold stars. Now, since I had so much going on the right hand side of the page, I thought I should add another accent. So I used Microsoft Word, the shapes in Microsoft Word, to print out a star that I cut out. And then I went in with some craft glue and gold leaf that I bought from the dollar store, just to put together a gold star. This process is a bit tedious as the gold leaf sticks to everything, but I really like the outcome. So I managed to dig deep and find my patience to put this all together. Since I was having such a hard time with the gold leaf sticking to the page, I had some clear sticker paper that I then adhered to the star just to keep the gold leaf in place. You will be able to see that in my next shot, in my next frame, once I've completed the gold leaf. But it is a bit of a process. I know there are other products I could probably use to set up my gold. I used what I had, and that's what so I had to improvise a little bit. Wasn't the greatest plan since the craft glue ended up reacting with the clear sticker paper. But overall, I really liked how it turned out. So that is this week's art journal page. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time so much. If you'd like more information, please feel free to check out my blog, which is linked below. Thank you.